The year is 2031. I have concluded my inspection of the city with the happiest citizens on earth. In the year 2021, the government of Petropolis, after having struggled for decades to fight corruption, exploitation, criminality, poverty, homelessness, mental illness, environmental pollution, and descent into anarchy, decided to take a radical step to end the struggle once and for all. This strategy was proposed by a psychiatrist turned computer hacker by the name of Hira Jung. According to Jung, the reason for the failure of capitalist society of Petropolis was that it neglected to follow the laws of nature, which he argues is a binary creation oriented in polar opposition with a point of equilibrium. Examples include north and south, positive and negative, light and dark, hot and cold, alive and dead, healthy and diseased, and so on. In line with this rule of duality, human nature falls in line with its own polar relationships. At the individual level, the binary human being is made of two personalities, the bright personality and the dark personality. One cannot exist without the other, and a human being can only be in balance with himself if both personalities are equally expressed and accepted by the individual. The bright personality is described as a desire to help other humans, share with other humans, and show compassion and mercy to other humans, even to the point of offering one's own life to save that of another. The dark personality, by contrast, is the desire to hurt, exploit, and abuse others. This includes the extremes of rape, torture, and murder. This is not the only binary within the human being. Due to our evolution as social species, we must also navigate between the individual and the collective. On a societal level, this is manifested as demand and supply, creation and destruction, war and peace, and so on. The ideal social system is one that resonates in harmony with the binary of the individual to such a point that if you were to line them up, they should match. Throughout history, our social systems were built to cater only to the bright personality and punish the dark personality. Communism and religion represent two of these approaches. Religion believes that the human being is inherently evil and needs salvation from its own evil by an external superior force. That force can be God, Allah, Yahweh, etc. The fact that religions have been around for thousands of years and still play a big role in modern society informs us that there must be truth in what they preach, and I don't mean the existence of an external superior force, but rather the indelible natural evil within us. While religion seeks to stifle the dark personality, the humanist ideology denies its existence altogether. While growing up under a communist dictatorship, I was taught in school that the human being is inherently good, having been endowed with a natural tendency to share and care for others. This was the kind of wishful thinking that led to the failure of communism as a system. In actuality, there are very few people who would put the community above themselves. The majority of human beings are selfish, jealous, egocentric, self-indulgent, self-centered, self-serving, and self-obsessed. It is these characteristics that lead to ruthless exploitation, corruption, violent crime, murder, rape, and other collective atrocities like Holocaust and genocide. And when it came to societies, also the dark side seemed to win, with every social system becoming at some point corrupt till it collapsed. According to Jung, this is an inevitable consequence of going against human nature. Like the snake who ate its own tail in the parable, the societies of history were unconsciously built with a self-destruct timer, which manifests at levels both individual, substance abuse, mental illness, suicide, and societal, violent crime, material destruction, war. Jung was convinced he had found a solution to this problem. In order for society to reach perfect balance and happiness for its individuals, it needed to mirror the natural binary pattern of humanity. There needed to be a system in which every human being could fully indulge in their bright and dark personalities. As a typical anarchist would put it, a lawless world where every action and behavior is permitted. As ideal as it may sound, we all know that such a society would not be possible in our current world. The moment we banish laws, all hell would break loose. So if we cannot create such a society in this world, why don't create it in the virtual world? Jung decided it was time to introduce the binary system, which was actually conceived in 1990 with the birth of the internet, when reality fractured in two realms, the virtual and the base. By 2025, it had reached full maturity and was ready to replace hyperconsumerism. When the internet first became popular among computer nerds, it sought to create a virtual parallel world where people could be whoever they wanted to be without restrictions. Fast forward to the year 2021. The internet had not only become the Wild West that tech nerds had hoped it would be. In fact, the opposite happened. It had become even more restrictive and controlling than base reality. Every website visit, every post, every click was immediately stored on the server of a giant corporation. Not conforming to their policy could not only get you banned from their service, but it could end your career or land you in prison. Not even to mention the armada of hackers who could steal your online accounts and commandeer your digital devices in a matter of minutes. Jung felt that in 2025 the time had come for a digital renaissance. This came riding on the shoulders of 3D Internet, now known in Metropolis as the Metaverse. Like the Internet is made of websites, the Metaverse is made of metaverses. Every citizen in Metropolis has their own metaverse or metaverses. Of course, building a metaverse is not as easy as building a website. This is why artificial intelligence was designed to assist citizens in the construction of their metaverses. You simply told the AI what kind of planet you wanted, and it would take care of the rest. The best of all was that you could do whatever you wanted in your metaverse, because you were the god of that world. You could choose an avatar to inhabit and live among your creations. You are free to live out any wild fantasies your bright personality and dark personality desired. To make this experience feel as real as possible, there were two important accompanying technologies, VR glasses and brain-computer interface, or BCI. Both technologies had already been invented in the early 2000s, but they weren't perfected until the mid-2020s. While most people were familiar with VR glasses, it took longer for them to get accustomed to BCI. What BCI does is to transmit the five senses in the metaverse directly into your brain. With the help of these technologies, if you have sex with a virtual woman in your metaverse, you'll sense the touch of her hand, the heat of her body, the smell of her perfume, the sound of her moaning. The experience is nearly indistinguishable from base reality. In the Metropolis, everyone is entitled to universal basic income. It's not too much, just enough for each citizen to afford a shelter and have relatively decent food and clothes. Most people in Metropolis live a minimalist life with very few possessions, and they are perfectly happy with that. Whatever they lack in base reality can be theirs in virtual reality. There, they can be a wealthy bachelor, king, president, superstar, superhero, supermodel, or even butterfly if they wish. Nearly everything is delivered to citizens' homes by drones in Metropolis. On average, people spend 4 hours a day, 3 days a week working in base reality. They spend the remainder of their time either in the metaverse or in base reality with their family and friends. Every citizen in Metropolis is taught from an early age that they are a binary human being with both a bright and a dark personality. This way, if the urges of the dark personality possesses them, they'll not act them out on their co-citizens, but rather direct them at the non-player characters in the metaverse. Where in real life, in base reality, he would have to face prison time or death sentence for harming or killing a human being. The chance to fully experience their dark personalities often leads to disappointment, like gamers who lose their taste for shooter games and move on to strategy. The metaverse helps them to reconsider such deeds as well as inform them of the workings of base reality. As a result, there is no crime or antisocial behavior in Metropolis. People in Metropolis stay healthy by engaging in physical activity outside in nature. 80% of its total surface is covered in untouched vegetation. The remaining 20% is streets and residential buildings. There are no shops or shopping malls in Metropolis, only giant warehouses at the edge of the city where all the consumer goods are kept and distributed by drones. This has freed up a lot of space for greenery to flourish. Citizens can enjoy numerous food and bicycle paths while breathing pristine air. Most people work from home, so Metropolis is nearly noise and traffic free. The only cars in Metropolis are electric, and the streets take up little space. With the teleportation feature of the metaverse, you can visit anywhere and anytime you like. Paris in the 1920s? Done. Top of Mount Everest? Simple. No need to hop on a fuel-guzzling airplane. Citizens of Beatropolis refer to themselves as Beat humans, and the era they live in as Beat age. Inspired by their story, other cities began copying the Beatropolis, setting the Bitvolution in motion.